We're here with James Tynion IV. How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
All right. Now, I've been following you for a while now. Something that interests me. There was one with the meme.
Oh yeah, Memetic. Yeah.
How did that come about?
I mean, that one was like, frankly, it was partially just me sitting down and trying to think of something that, like, really analyzing what really frightened me about the world. Because I did want to do something in the horror realm, because horror is an incredible passion of mine, and I wanted to tell that story. So. Really what I sort of came down to is that the scariest thing about the world right now is that information spreads faster than we know whether or not it's good or bad information. So it was the idea of what if there was something, like what if something was put online and spread so quickly, so fast because it seemed so good, but then it ultimately was the key to all of our destruction. So that was really the heart of Memetic and what got me going with that series.
Yeah, and I like the epilogue because that ending is very open to
how
you want to take it.
I mean, I leave it up to everyone who picks up a copy.
Yeah, I had to sit down and really look at that one. That was really good. And The Woods, that started off almost 3 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a while now. It's like, honestly, it's hard. Like, we're up to, I would say it was a little over 2 years now. So it's, we're up to issue 20 in stores, and it's incredible. Like, The Woods it was my first creator-owned property. It's something that's so deeply personal and powerful to me, and now we got option for television. We'll see how that goes, but it's a very exciting first step, and I couldn't be more thrilled about the response to the book, the fact that it's survived on the stands so long. Like, it just is a testament to all the readers.
The more I see from you, it's like you have this thing for horror. You just mentioned it too. I mean, did that start off as a kid, or?
Honestly, as a kid, I was terrified of everything. I was the kid who just, I never watched horror movies. I was the one who walked through the aisle in Blockbuster that had all the horror movies, and I would, look at the shelf. I would, look at the shelves through the corner of my eye, and in my head, the stories were so much scarier than anything, anything that, when I actually started watching them, none of them lived up to how scary I made them, and then I was like, I could do better than this. So that's when I started working on horror stuff.
Does having all this passion for horror make it easier to write? I guess the other title I've been picking up is Constantine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hellblazer has been a really, really, it's been a thrill. It's been one of my favorite books as long as I can remember it. John Constantine and going back to Sandman, that whole era, Swamp Thing, that whole era of pre-Vertigo and Vertigo. It was just it was so vibrant and exciting when I finally got into it, and it really broadened my horizons. So being able to come to the character and do something a little different than we've seen in a while, bring a little more levity to it, but still a dark levity. It still has what we wanted to do is make it a fun book, but make sure it still had a razor sharp edge, that it was still a critique of society, that it was still it wasn't making John a hero. He's not a hero. He's actually he does heroic things sometimes, but he does them for selfish reasons, and when he helps people, it tends to destroy them. The only person who survives in an encounter with John is John, and that's been the absolute thrill of working on the character. And working with Ming Doyle and Riley Rossmo on that book has been absolutely incredible.
The art is great. I love the art.
Yeah.
I mean, are you guys planning on bringing any old villains or any crossovers by any chance?
Well, Papa Midnight just made his way into the series, and we also reintroduced the classic 90s major DC villain Neron into the series, and there's a lot coming out of that, and that's going to sort of crescendo into our big the big story, right. The big climax of it is going to happen in a few months now, so I'm very excited for people to see it.
I've been keeping up on it. It's really good. Batman and Robin Eternal, it feels like you're really the one driving that one forward, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, after the first one, where Scott and I worked a lot, Scott Snyder and I worked very closely, and Scott was very involved with the second one as well, but the second one definitely came rather than from the first one came through a room of people throwing their ideas on it, and Scott and I kind of drove the ship. But the second one came from a place of me sitting down and realizing that there was this kind of gap missing in Batman's rogues gallery, that there was that there are so many villains out there that sort of play the surrogate father role to Bruce Wayne. There's Ra's al Ghul. There's so many Ducard. There's so many characters that are the mentor, brooding mentor that happened during his training or whatnot. And there's never been someone who plays that role on the mother's side. And creating a character who, in Batman's past, who is terrifying. It was something, and it also brings Cassandra Cain back into the storyline.
I've been waiting
it sort
for
of came fully formed to me, and I was so thrilled to be able to bring it to life.
You're working on a lot of things, aren't you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm now I'm dialing back down. I'm focusing that there are 2 big things coming out this year that I can't even start hinting about.
Darn.
There's a lot of I'm having a lot of fun right now. It's really I think I have sort of the dream writing slate. So.
Yeah, you're writing a lot of stuff. I'm hoping to see more horror from you. What other creator-owned stuff do you have?
Right now I have The Woods is my major ongoing piece. I also, if you were a fan of Memetic, I did a series called Cognetic last year, which is a follow-up, not in the same universe, but it's our second Apocalypse.
Okay, I will have to check that out.
The second entry in our Apocalypse trilogy. And it was another 3 oversized issue run. So we did that, and since it's part 2 of a trilogy, we have a third Apocalypse that won't be out this year, but will be out in the future. And The Woods is continuing right now in stores. We have they're actually putting my first ever creator-owned thing, which was a webcomic called The Eighth Seal that I did with Jeremy Rock on Thrillbent, and that's coming out in print through IDW.
Nice.
So I'm thrilled to see that, and that. That's everything right now. It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
But there's more to come.
I have to ask, because I'm just really curious, is there anything you can tell us about Rebirth by any chance?
There is a CBR interview that came out a few days ago now where Jeff Johns talks about a meeting he had with me in which we were talking about some of our favorite Gotham characters and what their roles might be in the future, and that is about, since the boss hinted at it, I can point people at that hint. There is nothing more I can really say right now, but stay tuned for WonderCon, because that's where a lot of the big information is going to be coming out. But Rebirth is big, it's exciting, and I'm a part of it.
Awesome. Now we want to hear more about you, and wherever we want to find you, where can we find you on the internet?
The best and really only place to find me is my Twitter, which is @James IV, all spelled out, on Twitter. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for doing the interview. It was a real pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take care.